Hi, this is Eric Miskell with EMS Now. I'm sitting at the INDIC EMS electronics facility in India with Vivek Khanna. He is the founder and managing director of this operations here. I wanted to get a chance to kind of get caught up and I've been in India now for 2 weeks traveling around meeting EMS companies. You're actually the last one that I am meeting on my tour. And I just wanted to get a sense from you about, people ask the question, why India and kind of why now? So, in your opinion, what's your sense of what's really driving the EMS industry growth in the country currently?
I think one of the most important things is the whole government initiatives been done. Yeah. The whole ecosystem government is trying to work it out on that. Yeah. I think you would have got the same answer from most of the other EMSs you talked about. But yes, that's most driving factor out here. Mm-hmm. I mean, India is getting recognized or at least moving towards the manufacturing hub and giving an alternative to China compared to what is known from R&D, the design work.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. China became the as they used to say, the factory for the world, right? And that's clearly been shifting. So, and I do think that the design capabilities that India seems to possess really help elevate it, right?
As you said, so we really want to change the whole narrative about we've been known earlier as factory for software, and why not the factory for
hardware?
Hardware.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the industry's on its way there, so that's my impression.
Yes, I mean, I'm doing a very small contribution to that, but yes, I fully endorse what you're talking about.
Well, you're very humble. So tell me, what policy and also ecosystem shifts matter most for the continuing development of the industry here?
To be honest, the Indian government has, or the policies which are coming up, are talking about now enhancing the whole semicon part. The OSAT has become, even, I don't want to disclose much about it, but even INDIC likes to be a part of the whole OSAT thing happening. Yeah. And from an EMS perspective, India has been always driving, even I always refer to my IT experience, on the dearth of people we have. So we have today 1.6 million electronic grads coming out.
Every year.
Every year. Yeah. And so government is coming up with the schemes like NATS, where these people become a part of manufacturing industry for 2 years. Yep. And not only that, they are also helping us onto, when it comes to the bigger game, on the funding side too. But I see the first part of diverting and giving attention to the grads which are coming out. It's not just creating the job, it's creating the whole ecosystem. Right. And the engineering skills are very, very much a predominant part of today, the electronic industry.
How do you see that at INDIC then? How do you benefit from that?
No, we experiment almost about 6 months back, taking about 200 plus grad engineers. Yeah. And it's too early stage to talk about it, but it definitely integrates us too, because we are now coming up with, I'm not talking about INDIC, but you gave me a chance to talk about, is that we are coming up with a new facility done by a Japanese company. It's a unique thing, a Japanese company called Shimizu. I'm very happy to say that. And there we are expecting, we'll be adding not less than about 1,000 plus people out there. Yeah. It's and we are going to use the new AI environment, the SMT lines getting created about. There's a big shift. It's too early to talk about, but so we are in a big way. I'm proud to say that all those 1,000 plus folks we are looking for, the employees we are looking, will be the NATS people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I toured the facility, or at least where it's going to be, and,
Did you like
the basic structure. Very impressive, and got a presentation, an overview by the construction lead over there. It was very, very impressive. So,
can I toggle the question? Can I ask you a question on that?
Sure.
Which is your job normally?
Go for it.
Is that you have visited thousands of EMS companies and all that. What is a unique point you saw in the new facility we are coming up?
It's the they always say you build your second house better, right? It's you have this one, but this was an older facility, and you grew the business within the confines of this facility, right? So when you build a new one, I see this at other EMS too, when they build a new facility, they improve the efficiency of the operations because they're able to make it much more continual flow. They're able to have, it's a planned layout for the facility that's much more efficient. And I see that in what's, not that you're inefficient, but you're within the confines of a building that you've grown into, right? I think the new one is going to be much more, and I love some of the things they're doing from an environmental perspective, from the construction perspective, that there's no screws or bolts in the roof.
Yeah.
That was amazing to me, and that it all snaps and that you can't even see how.
Got it.
I mean, I'm coming back to take a look at it when that's done next year.
Oh, that's
Vivek.
great. No, you'll be a part of the inauguration.
Oh,
I
I'm
can bet
looking
you.
forward to it. It looks, obviously, we didn't go inside. We saw, you know, the presentation in the what do they call that? The manufacturing hut or whatever that is there. And I like the environmental piece, the sustainability aspects that are being brought into it too. So, and you're right, it's a very impressive company that is doing the manufacture, and you're very fortunate to have somebody. This is going to be a true world-class facility that you're developing there.
But I'm not leaving you there, but I have a connecting questions to that is, since you mentioned that ours is the last EMS you visited, and this is your first India trip.
Yes.
So apart from what we are planning, how do you think, you definitely had a tour of our plant. Can you, I like your vision about, what do you think first on the India? I'm putting the question back to you.
Yeah, that's okay.
What do you think about India as an EMS player and where INDIC plays differently?
Yeah. So addressing the first point, I'm very impressed with what's happening in India, and it is absolutely comparable to how China developed 20 plus years ago, right? And I've been talking about that. But India has certain advantages. One, it's learning the lessons from what China did. You can look back and see. And you mentioned the IP issue is a big concern with China. India allows some things. I am reminded when I go around these tours that there's no one right way to do EMS. You know, everybody, each of the facilities, you're my 13th visit, has its own uniqueness, right? And that uniqueness is defined by several factors, and I'll miss some, but the facilities they have, the type of business that they have or try to do, right? Are you high mix or are you low mix? Are you high volume or are you low volume, right? What kind of equipment set do you have? How, the capabilities of your people. There's so much that goes into that. And, you know, I've seen 13 different models probably of how that is.
Right.
And they're all probably equally successful, right? How is yours different? I see, you know, and I'm looking at, well, the sectors you choose to play in has a big influence on that, right? You know, and I've talked to other EMS about this. You could probably get business in all kinds of other industry sectors. Probably people will come and say, hey, why don't you do all this consumer stuff for me? And you're going to say, no, thank you, because you could do it. You might, but you'd make a few pennies off it, right? It's just not good business. So I think you're staying true to who you are, to what your mission is, and you know, and you're investing in the future, and not just being complacent with what you have, but really seeing where the industry and the capabilities that are going to be needed, and that's allowing you, I think, will allow you to continue to be successful. So now I'm going to go back to asking questions of you.
No, I have one last question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Is I very well remembered when we were together in Munich.
Yes.
And you were a part of our booth, and you did talk a lot, or asked a lot, not about the infrastructure in India.
Yes.
Because that's the challenging part.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wanted, because it's your first India trip, and we've been known for having cows on the road. That was the perception we have. People come with that mindset.
Yeah.
What do you think now?
So first of all, there's no way I would drive over here. But you should understand context, though. Where I first landed was New Delhi.
All right.
We went out on the road. The first day I was out on the road, I was amazed, right? it's not just cars, it's two-wheelers, it's three-wheelers, it's the bicycles, and then you have the pedestrians who cross at different intervals. And
nobody hits anyone.
no, I'm amazed that there's no accidents. And I've decided that the philosophy there is if you hesitate, you lose, right? You you have to be assertive out there. But everybody's very courteous about it too. And so, you know, in the United States, we'd have road rage, right? People get mad and explode. Here, it's just, it's very good. But to that point, you know, I said you have the roads, it's the traffic that becomes a problem, right?
That's right.
And now I get it, some roads in some areas, especially with the rainy seasons, can be washed out and require, but that was the big one for me. And you know, I understand that the electric power can be somewhat inconsistent at times in some areas. So of course, all EMS companies have to have backup generators because you can't afford for the power to go out.
Right.
So.
Did you get a chance to go outside the metros? Because
oh yeah, I was out in some country areas. So.
Right. So, like I know it's your first trip, but ask me. In last 2 decades, I mean our infrastructure. I'm not talking about because we have 1.4 billion people, but our infrastructure on the airports, the ports, the highways. Yeah. I think there's
some really nice highways. When you get on the national highways, it's very different. It's getting onto them in this big cities that's the crazy traffic.
Right.
The ride yesterday when we went to Mysore, that ride is beautiful.
Yes.
It's a great road and it's beautiful scenery, right, is going out there. So almost felt like I was in a different country. It was spectacular. So.
What about the Indian food?
Oh, you're going to do a full interview here, aren't you? Look at this.
I love to know.
I enjoy Indian food. I do. I do. As I've gotten older, I can't handle so much spicy food, so I have to be careful with spices.
Okay.
But the general food itself, I've always appreciated. So.
Okay. I switch back to you.
Can I ask questions? Thanks.
No, it's your first, and you are excited or not? I'm very excited that you are in our country.
Listen, what I always say, or what is said, is you know the best trips are when you go home, you say I want to go back there.
That's right.
Right, and that is absolutely going to be you know part of what's and not just for the industry part, but I was saying before, you know, I haven't done a good job. I've only done one tourist type thing since I've been here. I just haven't had time. I've been on such a even on weekends. You know, my one day off Sunday.
Did you get a chance for Agra at least?
To what?
To visit Agra?
No.
The Taj Mahal?
No. No.
So you have to come again.
I got to come back. There's so much more to see. The only place I saw is the Mysore Palace. Did that yesterday. So that was a good treat. We were talking about the engineering talent within India and what you have here. Where or how does India's engineering workforce give it an advantage moving forward?
As I said now, it's very interesting today because the new domain which is coming up, everyone's talking about AI.
Yep.
And people are saying there'll be a big change even on what we are known for on the software side.
Yep.
On the services software side. And we are very clear and we are very sure that it'll play the same role for the manufacturing services side.
Yes.
And I'm lucky I'm on a services side.
Yeah.
I'm still not a complete ODM.
Right.
Right. So I think it will play a very, very big role. But I cannot predict what will happen 3 or 5 years down the line because it's so complicated.
Yeah.
But one thing I'd add up into that is a good thing you asked about. I am a part of a college called, most of the Indians knows about it, from Indian Institute of Science, which is the point of the top 1 engineering college about here, which has which is among the top 100 global institutes in the world. And I'm doing a big work along with this, my Indian Institute of Science, on this AI side connected to the EMS side, mainly on the automation side. I cannot divulge more information on that, but I'm telling you a very, very interesting journey on that.
Okay. So that's what in the movies or in TV they call a cliffhanger.
Oh.
You just did a good cliffhanger. You said, you know, you teased it and then you said, I can't tell you so much, but stay tuned, right? So more to come. So
not only that, I'm also fascinated that earlier, ask me a decade back, it was impossible to get even 50 people out of those 1.6 million I talked about, graduate engineers to a setup like mine or the manufacturing setup. Today they're very excited, and thanks, as I said, to be a part of the whole shift about technology moving into from an AI sector or even up the EVs. EV itself is a clear example.
And we talked about this a little before off camera, the difference between EMS, ODM, and JDM, right? Joint design manufacturing. And pure EMS for an engineering student coming out probably isn't necessarily that exciting, but the ability to be more involved on that design stuff probably is very attractive.
You'll be surprised, Eric, that in the last 2 years, almost all the opportunities I'm getting, the new global customers, they're looking for me on ODM, not even JDM.
Okay.
So like I was highly surprised. So in fact, you asked me, 2 years down the line, will be purely a ODM player. And my question to them was like, anyway, the way I asked back questions to you, I did the same to those folks saying, why? Like I'm a contract manufacturer. Why the design one? You already have design houses. Doesn't it make sense to outsource it to us rather than the other way around? And the answer was that they're now looking for, like a EMS, they have CapEx invested into it, the whole AI part coming into the SMT lines, the testing part. So they said you own the whole gambit of things. Right? They think that itself is an IP. And from a design house, their challenge is that they can work for anybody else, or tomorrow they may move out. The way the technology is getting changed. So they look that it's much more reliable, or they look for a longevity of 2 decades with you as a ODM, rather than a design house parking the job to you.
That makes sense. So when I think of India, and especially with the whole China Plus One movement that happened, India certainly has benefited from that. But so have other areas, like Vietnam and Southeast Asia has certainly benefited. Eastern Europe benefits from it. Mexico has benefited from that. So how does India compare with those regions?
Ask me, I think something I said earlier too was, one part was that domestic market we have. Okay. I mean, it's a very different market. On top of that, I mean, because of our strong education system, we are very fascinated to work into the niche areas, right? And you talk about, you mentioned about the 2-wheeler, the 3-wheeler, the big market. It's not just the 4-wheeler market, right? That's sort of the innovations done on that, not just the manufacturing, the whole one. It's a gambit of things you don't expect much in Vietnam or Mexico. So I think the huge domestic market.
And that potential, absolutely. So what should OEMs kind of expect from India in 2026? Well, how do you think? I mean, we're halfway through, or are you heading into this, almost into the 4th quarter of 2025? What do you think OEMs should expect out of India in the next year?
Yeah, it's a tough question in the sense like I can't predict the OEM side, but I will see my own industry, the EMS industry, getting very mature. It will be very apparent to the OEM players. I'm more talking about the global players. The huge trust about Make in India, the way you mentioned about the infrastructure change and all that, which needs, a lot of electronics into that too. We play a part of that. The OSAT thing I talked about, the semicon, the big trust on that. Foxconn has playing a very big role here. I mean, they are just next to us. They are about 4 kilometers from us. You see the roadmap they created. They started in November, the operation. And about a month back, there were 25,000 employees there. And I think, I don't know exactly the complete roadmap, but my understanding is in the next 6 to 8 months, they'll be touching about 90,000 workers.
My goodness.
So that's 2026.
Continued success. And like you said too, the ecosystem is being developed here. It's going to take some time. But I see movement on all fronts in that direction.
I mean, earlier I was looking about, do I put some sales offices around in Europe and in US? But earlier I was looking about the acquisitions, spreading the wing on that. But today I'm just looking for having more locations in India itself. So that's because the logistic cost for the India market is very important.
Yeah. Listen, India is the biggest story in the EMS industry these days, right? It isn't the growth potential. It's where people want to be for the reasons you were talking about. The domestic market, and you're going to attract more. There's going to be more players coming into the market here, no doubt, as well in the next few years, as people seek to leverage that. That always happens in all regions with EMS, right?
Right.
And there'll be some success. There'll probably be some failures in the process too.
Yeah, that's but I think the interesting thing about India as a EMS market is that I always say the entry barrier is still pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken a company like INDIC almost 15 years to be where they are, right? Because you take earlier, our success story was again design, where you just need a laptop, some good 10 chaps, and come up with a fantastic idea or a product, but not here.
Not here.
And I mean, we always compare ourselves to China. So the government is giving it support, but in a very different way.
Yes.
I think that may be the differentiator for a success story in India.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Well, I look forward to coming back and witnessing that success in the years ahead. And I want to say thank you for being so gracious with your time and your comments and inviting me into your factory.
I'll be also looking forward for having more and more dinners with you on the different time frames.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Eric, for giving me opportunity to talk again.
It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.